In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why good designers can build websites fast. It's not about how much it costs for a website and how much time it takes, but why they can build websites fast and how. So just to give you a bit of background, I've probably touched over 1,000 websites in my career. I say career in air quotes because I just started by building one site for a non-profit, which you could learn more about in some of my other videos. But with that said, I built probably 150 to 200 sites over the course of 3 years. But this process has taught me so much more about how the design process works and what it really looks like. And for a second, I just want to talk about a different example, graphic design. Let's say you're designing a logo. But let's say you're designing Chase Bank, who manages trillions of dollars. How do you go about designing a logo? If we think about how much time it takes to design a logo versus how big the company is, it would probably take 10 years, if not 30 years, to design the logo. So the one thing we want to start with before we even get into this conversation is you have to break the idea, if you haven't yet, break the idea that the amount of time it takes is the value of what it costs. That is not how this works. Actually, a great designer, if you think about a great doctor, should be able to work quickly and efficiently. Why? Because they know what to look for. And this is my first point. So if you are a good website designer and trying to become better, the main thing I would tell you to push is to become better by becoming faster. This is a core belief that if you go through the process more, you will learn how to make decisions better. It's kind of like going to the gym for the first time. You have to make so many decisions. Should I do this machine? Should I work on my back? Should I work on my legs? And then you figure out, okay, I'm going to work on my legs. Should I do this machine or that machine? And then you go on the machine. Should I do 5 reps or should I do 15 reps? Should I do 3 sets or should I do 10 sets? Or should I do lightweight or heavyweight? You have to make so many decisions. But as an expert, you don't make those decisions because you already have a protocol to go into. And the main thing here is you want to build confidence. Website design is about design, but it's about making decisions. Should this section be here or should it not? Does it include this page or does it not? Does it include this section on this page? Does it not? Does it include this graphic or does it not? You're basically making decisions like this. You want to build confidence. If it takes you a long time to build a site, really start to question what you're doing in the process. Are you actually designing or are you spending a lot of time making decisions on what needs to be done? The more you do something, the better you will get at it. There was a study done once, and I am not going to quote any of this right, but a class was split into 2 groups. 50% of the students were put into one group, 50% of the students put into another group. And this is how it worked. The Pottery Class worked like this. The 50%, the first group, they were told to make 1 perfect pot over the course of the semester. Or 1 perfect cup, something like that. The other group was told to make as many items as possible, to make as many cups as possible throughout the semester. The cups that turned out better came from the second group because they had gone through the process so many times that on accident they made perfect cups, while the group trying to seek perfection in 1 cup struggled because they didn't learn all the little ins and outs of the process. This is what I would say. If you're trying to become a better website designer, first and foremost, build confidence in making decisions by making decisions. The more decisions you make, the faster you go through the process, the better. I also have this other rule that I've talked about in other videos, which is deliver at 80. Oftentimes, designers can get to 80% quickly, efficiently, and effectively, but they waste a lot of time on that last 20%. Get to 80%, show it to the client, see what they say, get feedback, go from there, and iterate. Don't try to make it perfect on the first go. You don't need to impress anyone. Your portfolio already should be impressive, and you should have a good sense of where the project's going. Yes, in design, things fall off, but for the most part, this is a great starting point. Now, let me give you 2 tips on how to make this happen. First, build systems. You should never do anything outside of a system, especially if you're repeating the task. So build yourself a system that's repeatable and easy to follow. So when you design a website, start with one part and then go into the next part and then go into the next part. Now, what does that look like? The first thing could be set up the client's new site, their account, or whatever that is. From there, set up the basis of the code or the elements and get that started. Step 3 can be then work on making sure you do all the major formatting for the title tags, for the H1, H2, H3, and beyond, the body tags. Make sure you add all the typefaces, the logos, the colors for the font. Do that in one go. Then design easy pages. Then design harder pages. Boom, you have a process. You could adjust that however you like. There's no promise or guarantee that one system is better than another. But what you can do is you go through that process. You build a process that you can go through every time. And the trick there is, remember, deliver at 80, but use something like a timer. I always use a timer when I design or when I do anything because it keeps me on my feet. And it also works off of Pareto's law, which says the amount of time you give something is the amount of time it takes. So the first big principle and how-to is design a system and then time yourself against that system. Step 2, which I've already talked about in the video thus far, is build confidence. You build confidence by doing, not by thinking about doing or anything else. Build the site for the client, show it to the client, build it quickly, make sure you move through your system. At the same time, make more decisions, get better at making decisions, see what decisions hold you up. Maybe it's the homepage. Maybe the homepage takes you 10 hours. Don't know why, but you just feel like you get stuck on the homepage. Maybe look at some wireframes and then design your homepages based off of that and then see what the client says. If you start getting really good feedback, you know exactly what to build. So go through that process. Also, ask clients for very specific feedback on sections that you struggle with. So for example, let's say you struggle with the footer. Ask the client, what do you like about the footer? What makes the footer stand out to you? Why is this footer approved? Anything that allows the client to communicate with you and give you feedback will be a great way for you to understand what works and what doesn't. So the next time you build a site, you know exactly what to look for. Website design is very much a custom process. It is a very unique process for every type of business and every type of site. But at the same time, the systems of getting to the end are always very similar. And I know fancy designers are not going to like what I just said, but the truth is, at the end of the day, the system to get there is very much the same. Just like a doctor who does surgery, they could do 10,000 surgeries. All those patients are completely different, background, age, ethnicity, all these different items that matter to do the surgery. However, they've developed this expertise and the system to make sure that they are safe, effective, and the results are lasting for the patient. And so think about this as you design. If it takes you 20 hours to design a site, try to cut that by 10, 20, or even 30%. If it takes you longer, same thing. Try to cut it by 10%, 20%, and over time see yourself improve. Ask yourself, what's holding up the process? What's making this complicated? What's taking more time than it should? Use these systems, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. With that, I hope you found value in this video. If you did, hit that like button, and if you want more content just like this, hit the subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.